Welcome back to Domestic Issues with the Counselor, Mr. James Horton. Welcome back to another lesson and another blessing. Welcome back, you all, and welcome back, family, to my class. Excuse me. We're going to be dealing with a paper called Domestic Warning Signs, right? There are many warning signs and many domestic warning signs in our world today. My upbringing has been in Oakland, California, starting from San Francisco, but prolonged to Oakland, California after a great move with a lot of domestic violence going on in my house and with my dad against my mom and against us. So it was kind of horrible kind of scene that I know many of you can relate to, and I hope most of you haven't had to relate to this kind of thing, but we must also be aware of what they call the warning signs, of things that happen in our environment and in our homes and abroad. There are things that even connect to street violence. It's all violence. It's just in different places. It's not necessarily just in the home, but it finds itself traveling into people's homes that, strangers' homes even, and victims of stranger invasions and home invasions. All right? So, before we get started, I also like you to push the subscribe button, become a family member, become a subscriber to my channel, and that will help me out a whole lot, and then I will continue to do the work to help you all, in subjects like this matter here. Okay, it says domestic violence warning signs. What are domestic violence warning signs? Signs or signals or alerts warning us of potential threats before or after getting in a domestic violence relationship or in a situation where one could be in danger. Warning signs are red flags like the tone of someone's voice, even their eyes, that look that people give, the choice of words, body language, facial expressions, threats, telling someone what to wear, monitoring someone's cell phone and finances, verbal and physical abuse, all and many more are violent, abusive warning signs. Okay? Ask yourself questions. Number one says, have you ever gotten in a domestic warning sign? Have you ever got a domestic warning sign before or after getting involved in a relationship with someone who was already involved with someone else? Have you ever got that warning sign? People say, oh, that's not a warning sign. Oh, yes, it can be a warning sign. Especially if, you know or you don't know. You know or you don't know that that person is involved with someone. They may say, hey, our relationship is over. Hey, he just stays at my house. Hey, she's there because she got the kids with her and I just don't want to be away from my kids. Many of those kind of excuses. But going into those sort of dwellings and not knowing the whole truth, and even part of the truth that you do know is a warning sign. You must pay attention to that because it can be life-threatening, detrimental, and homicidal and suicidal to even put yourself in that sort of thing. All right. Number two, do you feel or believe if you meet someone who tells you that they have a history of verbally and physically abusing most relationship partners in their past, that you've received a domestic warning sign? Do you believe that? I believe it. I mean, but that don't mean that most of us won't go in anyway. That doesn't mean that we won't find ourselves saying, oh, he or she won't do it to me because I'm different, right? We say those kind of things and we've gotten a warning sign to tell us not to go in, but yet we tend to find ourselves going deep into the forest. and not knowing how to get our way out, or find our way out. Number 3, do you feel if you or a new relationship partner is okay with having multiple partners and multiple relationships at the same time, that you have shown and received a domestic warning sign? Do you feel if you or a new relationship partner is okay with having multiple partners and multiple relationships at the same time, that you have received a domestic warning sign, right? Watch out what you say you're okay with. One must really, really watch out what they sign up for. Watch out what's said on the resume, because it might be a little more than you can stand. You might get inside or get involved in something, and you choose to participate in something that's actually too big for you. It was something you saw in a movie. It was a fantasy that you didn't really, really watch the whole movie. And once you get in there, it will involve a lot of feelings. Most of the time, it's going to involve a lot of feelings. And some of us go into it being intoxicated on a substance and making it okay. But you have to come down sooner or later, and you may find yourself remembering what that session was about, what that morning session or night session was all about. It might be too much, Number 4, when it comes to meeting someone and getting involved with someone who's loud, belligerent, disrespectful, ignorant, do you believe you're getting a domestic warning sign? When it comes to meeting someone for the first time and getting yourself involved with someone who's loud, belligerent, disrespectful, and ignorant, do you believe you have gotten and you're getting a domestic warning sign? You like, hey, I don't want to fight. Hey, I don't want to. Well, why would you pick someone with those characteristics? You must think about that. Why would you do that? It's a very somewhat ignorant thing to do. Number 5, are you or have you ever been in a relationship with someone who didn't or doesn't allow you to go out or spend time with your family, that's showing domestic violence warning signs, right? Are you or have you ever been in a relationship with someone who didn't or doesn't allow you to go out or spend time with your family, that's showing domestic violence warning signs? It's a known fact. It's actually a really, really known fact, you all. It's a known fact when people are trying to separate you. It's part of the process. Many individuals with anger or mental or imbalances tend to be very sweet in the very beginning and first stages of relationships. And then as time goes on, they begin to say, I don't like you hanging around your friends. I don't like you going over your family, because when you come back from your family, you acting different, or you behaving different, and I don't like that, or they don't like that. Those kind of things. And then eventually, you'll find yourself months and months going by, and you haven't saw your loved ones. They don't know how you're doing. They don't know if you're being jumped on. They don't know if you're being bruised up. They don't know. And you can get bruised up and find yourself waiting for your wounds to heal before you do interact with them, because eventually they might decide to call the police and send somebody over there to check on you. So be careful about these warning signs. Number 6, are you or someone you love and think you know known to lie and wait, call constantly, invade one's privacy, stalk, and show domestic violence warning signs? Are you the person, or do you know someone you love and think you know, known to lie and wait, call constantly, invade one's privacy, stalk, and show domestic violence warning signs? I mean, that's waiting outside somebody's house, uh, that calling and breathing on the phone and not saying who you are, and anonymous numbers, and uh, parking your car outside someone's house saying you're just there to roll up a blunt, you know, but you looking at the house, that waiting on the side of the house, laying on your stomach in the dark, uh, looking and waiting for your associate, friend, or ex-partner to come home, listening at the door. I mean, all these kind of sick behaviors and showing up in places where that person doesn't know you're there. And then telling them later, I saw you having dinner with your supervisor, your coworkers, and all this old kind of stuff, that creepy stuff. These are warning signs. These are actually warning signs, right? And one must be aware and careful. Number 7, are you known to show domestic violence warning signs or red flags when it comes to you not trusting your relationship partner? Are you known to show domestic violence warning signs or red flags when it comes to you not trusting your relationship partner when they are out your sight? Are you showing that? I mean, like, where was you at? Saying stuff like that. Yeah, I bet you was over that house. I bet you was with that B. If it, that kind of those verbal attacks and all that kind of stuff, or even calling, right, saying stuff. They told you they was going to a business meeting, but yet you're calling them all through the time of the business meeting. They told you when the business meeting started, and they told you when it was going to be over, but yet you find yourself, or many people find themselves verbally abusing a person, calling constantly and doing all this kind of sick stuff, and then giving them the business when they do make it back home to the residence, right? Number 8, do you feel or believe a domestic warning sign is when a person is always accusing their relationship partner of cheating, being unfaithful, when there never been proof that their partner has been unfaithful or cheating? Do you feel or believe a domestic warning sign is when a person is always accusing their relationship partner of cheating, being unfaithful, when there has never been any proof that their partner has been unfaithful or cheating? Do you think that's a warning sign? Do you think that's some issues? Do you think that even possibly can be something that has carried on from past relationships that didn't work out? I mean, like, what do you believe? What do you believe is a warning sign? And we must pay attention. Life is short these days. I mean, it's getting shorter, and I'm not talking about my height, but life is really, really getting short with the radical things that's going on, with the ingestion and filtering in all kind of substances and all kind of this and that. And it was I must mention this. I may start mentioning it in most of my footage. Is that it's always good to read up on something. I would like you all to go on to your browser and put in and ask your browser, is cannabis smoking, weed smoking, have a relationship with mental illness, right? The weed of the day, I've read, has a relationship with mental illness and imbalances. It makes one angry. The withdrawals of it causes many to go out and commit crimes and do violence against other people, especially a partner. So read up on it, know what you're doing. And it's especially if you're known to smoke a lot of it, back to back to back to back to back. And then you want to try different names of weed, Gorilla Glues and all this kind of. I want you guys to look this up. So you won't just think that I don't know what I'm talking about. So I noticed that upon the legalization of cannabis, and I remember being out there in the world, I call it a cannabis case. You know, did some old kind of stuff. Somebody sold it. I didn't sell it, but they sold it. And I went to jail for the sale of this here supposedly harmless substance, right? And the stuff back then was really harmless compared to what they got now. But the crime rate has changed since the legalization of marijuana in California. The crime rate has gone up really, really high. So this is one of my reasons why I went into doing some research. Okay, number 9, we're gonna close this out. Do you believe if you're in a relationship and your partner is still talking and making time with their ex-partner, that your relationship partner is showing some domestic red flags and some domestic warning signs? Do you feel or believe if your relationship partner and your partner, if you're in a relationship and your partner is talking and making time with their ex-partner, that your relationship partner is showing domestic red flags and some domestic warning signs? Some would say that should be closed down. If you're with somebody, if you're actually with somebody and they are still consulting with someone else, someone that's not a business partner, they don't have no great organization, business that they have to run together, but they're calling this person and letting this person know whatever. They could be talking about what's going on with you and them. They could be saying things like, hey, he doesn't treat me, or she doesn't treat me like you did, and all this kind of stuff. They don't love on me like you did when we was together, and all that kind of stuff. It seems to be a warning sign that someone has not really let go, right? And it causes the relationship to be a threesome or something like that. It's not a twosome, it's a threesome. So a threesome is like you, her, and her, right? You, her, and her, or him, her, him, her and him, or it becomes multiple. It becomes multiple, whatever your choices are. It becomes multiple partners and stuff like that. So these are warning signs. But that's gonna be it for yours truly. Domestic issues counselor, Mr. James Horton. Subscribe to my channel, push the red button, push the like, leave a comment, tell me what you think about the video, and I'll get back to you. Leave a comment, leave something, right? Whatever it is, it's your choice. Thank you again for attending my class.